May 22nd, 1975, Charlotte, North Carolina. A whopping crowd of over 20,000 fans have gathered to watch their heroes qualify for the 16th running of the longest race on the NASCAR circuit, the World 600. What better omen could any driver ask for? But Richard Petty, superstar of the STP racing team, doesn't believe in omens. Richard Petty believes only in himself, in his skill as a driver. Today he is surrounded by the greatest specialists in his field. Winners like Cale Yarborough, who is on his way to qualify for what will become the 5th starting position in Sunday's marathon. Cale has won at Charlotte once before, but he's never had a World 600 victory. Buddy Baker, a Charlotte native who in a few minutes will qualify his blue and white Ford for the 4th starting position, holds the record for the most World 600 victories with 3. He has an overall total of 4 wins on the hometown track. The Bud Moore-built car is coming off a big win at Talladega this month and will have to be considered a favorite. Donnie Allison, who will earn the 7th starting position today, has 2 victories here, one in a National 500 and one in a World 600. He is winless in 1975, but is always a threat on any track. Darrell Waltrip, the new kid in town, will soon qualify for the 6th starting position. With his first Grand National win coming only 2 weeks ago, the future looks bright for this 28-year-old youngster. Then there's David Pearson, the granddad of modern racing, and winner of last year's National 500 and World 600 races. His Wood Brothers Mercury will claim its usual place on the pole for Sunday's outing. But now it's Richard's turn to sizzle his 2 laps around the 1.5 mile asphalt track that has defied his efforts to win for the last 15 years. He will qualify today for the 3rd starting position. An excellent place to start a big race, especially in a year like 1975 that has offered some of the best competition the racing world has seen in many years. While most of the country is buried in snow, over 100,000 racing fans are basking in the brilliant Florida sun of Daytona Beach. The Daytona 500 is the first symptom of a disease known throughout the South as spring racing fever. The fans greet Petty warmly, as they always do. If any man can be said to own Daytona, it is Richard Petty. He has won 5 Daytona 500s, 4 more than any other driver. Competition is as stiff for the beauty contestants as it is for the drivers. Pretty girls are at a premium in this world-famous vacation land, and they all want to be seen on the front stretch of NASCAR's richest and most glamorous Winston Cup race. 40 men and machines begin their slow circle of this monstrous 2.5-mile oval that once almost wiped out the Petty racing dynasty. In 2 separate accidents on the same day, Richard and Father Lee Petty both took trips over the wall, completely demolishing their cars. Richard walked away from his accident, but Lee's injuries finally led to his retirement. Since then, son Richard has attacked the track with a vengeance, defeating its highly banked turns and incredible speeds time and time again. The green flag falls for pole sitter Donnie Allison as Petty and Yarborough quickly jump around 2nd and 3rd place qualifiers Pearson and Bobby Allison. As the red, white, and blue Matador begins to fade into the field, it appears to be an early 4-car duel. But Donnie's Dyguard machine is forced to make way for both the Petty STV Dodge and Yarborough Chevrolet, dropping Donnie to a 3rd place battle with David Pearson. There's an accident in the 3rd turn as 5 cars careen dangerously close to the press area. Only the incredible skill of these drivers prevents what could have been a major disaster. Petty's crew anxiously await to see if their car has been involved. But Petty is safe and heads for the pits to take advantage of the day's first caution flag. He gets a fresh set of tires But the stop appears a little more serious. Something is wrong with the cooling system in the big Dodge. Luckily, Petty won't lose any ground on this lengthy stop. The slow caution laps on a track this size offer a crew several minutes to make adjustments they normally would have to do in a few seconds. But overheating is a serious problem in racing for the drivers and the spectators. The green flag finds the versatile Texan A.J. Foyt in the lead, closely followed by Petty and Donnie Allison. The USAC champion boasts he can drive any track from Indy to Daytona and has a previous win here to prove it. A spin out in the fourth turn takes another car out of competition and once again brings out the caution flag. But it soon becomes obvious Petty's problems have just begun.
You know, I could run real fast and run and catch up with everybody, and then the car would run hot and we'd have to come in and put water in it. Every time we put water in it, then I could go back out and run again. What happened, they busted a head on it and the water kept running out, so we had to keep it cooled off.
A fierce competitor to the end, he will nurse his car to a 7th place finish, while Benny Parsons captures his first super speedway triumph. March provided a chilly welcome for Richard Petty in Rockingham, North Carolina, for the 10th annual Carolina 500. But to the Petty crew, this may be a blessing in disguise. If thousands of hours of work and analysis have not cured the Dodge's heating problems, perhaps the 39-degree weather will. Richard is fresh off a win at a short track in Richmond and is eagerly awaiting his first super speedway win of 1975. Rockingham is a perfect track for race fans. A little more than a mile in length, it's big enough to be considered a super speedway, yet small enough to allow easy viewing. Buddy Baker has grabbed his first pole position of the year, with second spot going to Petty. A couple of the newer faces in NASCAR, Darrell Waltrip and Lenny Pond, have grabbed the 3rd and 4th positions away from veterans like Yarborough and Pearson, who will start further back in the field than usual. Baker guns the big Ford into the lead as the green flag fans the chilly March air. As the field comes off the second turn, begins to pull away from the rest of the pack. But Waltrip has different ideas and quickly nudges his Chevrolet into the battle to make it an early three-way race. Young Waltrip takes the lead as Baker, unable to keep the pace he helped set, fades into 3rd. Coming off the 3rd turn, Petty's back end breaks loose, but he quickly brings it under control and heads for the pits. Valuable seconds go by as the crew replaces a bad right side tire in an attempt to solve his handling problems. Waltrip is not far behind, as it becomes evident tire wear may take its toll among the leaders. The two return to battle, only to find Yarborough is now in command. Cale has never won a Carolina 500 before, and with 4 second-place finishes, he's a little tired of playing bridesmaid to Mr. Petty. In spite of this, Richard is running hard and quickly slices into the lead with Waltrip right behind him. Yet the Petty crew seems anxious. Something else is wrong with the Dodge. Could it be heating problems again? That would be a cruel joke for fate to play on such a bitterly cold day.
And then all of a sudden I look down and the heat gauge is gone clean out of the world on it, and it's running 250 degrees, and so here I come into the pits again and they start pouring water, and it must have been about 10 or 15 degrees at the racetrack, and the poor boys was putting in water, and I was pretty hot under the collar, I guess, and you know, just because we'd had trouble at Daytona, and we did think that we had it fixed, and we did think we was running real good Rockingham, and we felt like we should have been a winner. And being that I was sitting in the pits getting water again, it was really a very disappointing thing.
Petty moves his patched-up machine back onto the track and soon passes David Pearson in an attempt to make up his lost laps. Despite the heating problems, his car is still running good. But it's Daytona all over again, and Petty pits once more. His chances for a win gone. He'll have to settle for third place, finishing behind winner Cale Yarborough. A bad omen for Richard as the Charlotte race looms ahead.